Joining us now, Corey Stewart. Corey is currently the chairman of supervisors of Prince William County. He's got so many titles that could take my whole show up to read them all. He's chairman of the Trump campaign. He's co-chair of the Republican Party of Virginia Victory campaign. He's finance chairman of the Republican Party of Virginia. You name it, he's got it. Great to have you, Chairman Stewart, with us.
Great to be on your show again, John.
Now we're fired up. Oh, by the way, he's also running for governor, if you didn't know that. And right now there's 3 announced candidates in that race. Corey Stewart, chairman of Prince William County of Supervisors, Congressman Rob Whitman, and Invisi Ed Gillespie. Has anybody seen him? Oh, I saw him the other day on a milk carton. Call 888, have you seen Ed? Let's try and track him down. Corey Stewart, yesterday, I just got to say that we were talking about this earlier. I was watching the press conference with my wife, Ann, who you know, and we'll be together in Cleveland in a couple weeks. And 5 minutes into it, she turns to me and she said, wow, John, you were so wrong. She's going to get indicted. I can't believe it. We have an independent government. Hooray. 5 minutes after that, nothing. What do you make of it?
Well, I don't know. So just dispiriting. I really had thought that the FBI was going to maintain its tradition of objectivity. Just very, very disappointing in our government. And I just hope that somebody inside the Justice Department will step forward, come clean with the truth and what it was that the Clintons and the Democratic Party did and the Obama administration did to really subvert the Justice Department, the FBI, and the whole law enforcement apparatus of the federal government.
Well, that isn't going to happen. I mean, look, Corey, many of us like me that are a little more jaded or crusty, or you might call us a curmudgeon or something like that, we think this thing has been rigged from the beginning. I mean, look, you have a 3.5-hour meeting with Hillary Clinton the holiday weekend. 3.5 hours? Are you kidding me? You know how many hours they met with Bob and Maureen McDonald? Like 27 hours. They meet with her for 3.5 hours. Then James Comey says, well, I didn't talk to anybody about this. Meantime, he does this impromptu press conference, which just happened by pure coincidence to be the same day that President Obama launches his campaign in unison with Hillary Clinton in Charlotte just hours after that in order to tip the cycle of news so that they would have something else to talk about on Tuesday. All this coincidence. Do you really think anybody believes that? People today, Corey Stewart, believe that their government is a rigged system. There's 2 sets of rules, those for working schmucks like me, and then for the elites in Washington that can do anything that they want at any time. And so I think that's when you say you were dispirited today. I don't think this has anything to do with who was indicted or who might be the nominee or how it affects the presidential race. Founding Fathers set a government up that was independent. What you saw, in my judgment, on Tuesday is the complete overtaking of every facet of government by Barack Obama and the elites. How do you stop this?
Well, I think the only way to stop it is on November 8th. I think we've got to, the people, the citizens of this country have got to take back their government. And I do think, just on the positive side, I do think that there are a lot of Democrats today who know that Hillary Clinton is a crook. They know that she doesn't care about the country. They know that this whole thing was rigged from the beginning. And hopefully they are going to do the right thing and, vote against Hillary and just send a message that that's not going to be tolerated from the Clintons or anybody else, that there's one law, it applies to everybody the same.
Well, I mean, that's one of the issues now is that you have to get up and say to yourself, if you're just a working American, you really don't have any shot in the way the government is now set up to favor a select few. Corey, I'm going to play Donald Trump's comments yesterday about how he says the system is now proven to be rigged, and then get your comments on that.
When you hear what was said by the FBI director today, and you listen to what he said, and in the middle of it, he was talking about so many different things. He talked about extremely careless. She was extremely careless. That's a tremendous word. You didn't have to be careless. You didn't even have to really know that what you were doing was wrong and you're guilty, because we're talking about serious stuff. We're talking about the lifeblood of our country. We're talking about the safety of our people. The laws are very explicit. Stupidity is not a reason that you're going to be innocent, okay? It's not a reason. And I don't happen to believe that it was stupidity, okay? But even stupidity is not a reason. And boy, what they've done. So I wrote this out, and I'm going to read some of it to you. And I think it makes sense, and I think it's important for us to understand. Today is the best evidence ever that we've seen that our system is absolutely, totally rigged. It's rigged.
Look, Bernie Sanders was saying it. He was right. Trump is saying it. He's spot on. Corey Stewart, you're with us now. How do we turn this around?
Well, I think, I think the message has to be even, I think the effect of what happened yesterday is going to make it clearer that there is the differential between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump is this. Is that Donald Trump is representing all those guys for the longest time who have had no access to government, who don't feel that the government is responsive to them, that it treats them fairly. And then you have all the others who, have access, they have influence. These are your corporate types, and it's not just Democrats. It's really establishment Democrats.
Right.
And establishment Republicans,
right,
like Mitt Romney,
right,
and like the Bush family. And I think people are waking up to this. I really do. And I think that we're going to see somewhat of a revolution on November 8th where the people take the government back. And by the way, it's not just, this is not going to go, this is going to cross racial lines. It's going to cross party lines. The election on November 8th will be an historic turnaround for our country.
Well, look, I think you're right. I know you're on the right track here because it's what we've been saying for some time, that November 8th is going to be a choice between what kind of government you want representing you. And it's not an ideological battle. I've been saying that forever. It's not this particular conservative litmus test or that, or, who believes in what particular facet of some social campaign. What this is going to be about is what type of a government do you want? Because the one that we have right now that Obama has set up, like you just said, the establishment Republicans have been totally complicit in, is one that favors a select elite few that keep them well-funded, well-fed, well taken care of at the expense of everybody else. And look, I'm going to be just candid here, Corey. You're running for governor. You've got two opponents in this race for the Republican nomination. One of them, Ed Gillespie, represents exactly what you just talked about. Corporate, lobbyist, K Street. Where's he been on any of this stuff? I haven't seen him. I haven't heard him make a single statement on anything about what is going on now. You know why? Because he's part of the establishment elite globalist class. So for them, when they look at something that just went down with Comey, it's like, well, okay, we understand that because she's one of the protected elites that can't be touched. Agree or not?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you're right on, John. I mean, look, Ed Gillespie is a nice guy by all accounts. I mean, he's a very friendly guy. But he doesn't move. He doesn't do anything without consulting his consultants. He's not even, he's not even himself. What he is he's a product of this corporate consulting culture that has infected politicians across both party lines over the last 40 years. And finally, what you're finding with the Brexit vote, and what you're going to find in November is that people are tired of it. They want a real person. They want somebody who's going to speak the truth, at least the way they see it, even if they disagree with it. They want somebody who's got the noogies to say the truth. And that's what they're going to get with me. But first things first, we've got to, get this crook, Hillary. We've got to get her defeated. And we've got to put Donald Trump as president.
Corey, let's get to the Virginia race. I think Mrs. Clinton is going to pick Senator Tim Kaine as her running mate. Now, look, that is going to make Virginia a tougher play to win in November. You're the chairman of the state. How do you win if it's Clinton Kaine?
Well, I think, first of all, I think Kaine is, he's kind of he's just there. I mean, when's the last time anybody heard from Tim Kaine on any subject? And a lot of, Virginians are very quick to forget their governors. And so when you go, from the governorship into the U.S. Senate, these guys are miserable over there. They hate it because they don't have you have to share power with all these other, elected officials. And Tim Kaine has really been non-existent. There's no real love for the guy. There's no hatred for him either. I just see him as kind of a benign factor in the whole race. And if she chooses him, I really don't think that's going to help her secure Virginia at all.
Okay, well, I think the opposite. I think he would make the ticket in Virginia tougher odds for us to carry the state because he is popular. Now, I was not in Virginia when he was governor. What was his general record as chief executive here, Corey?
Well, I think when people look back at their governors, they see some successful governors like George Allen, and a lot of Virginians, and I don't agree with that, of course, but Mark Warner was very popular. With Tim Kaine, it's just a blank record. People can't even recall what he did for this state. So I wouldn't say it's not a bad record, but it's not a good one. And it's certainly nobody really remembers anything that he did that was positive for the state.
Okay, let's move on, if I can, Corey, to one of the things that also, for some reason, dominated the news cycle. You would think that yesterday, all the talk would have been about the fact that what Jim Comey said, he then failed to bring charges against Hillary Clinton. But as I'm flipping the channels last night, one other thing that dominated the shows was the fact that apparently one of the social media manager for the Trump campaign, Dan Scavino, sent that tweet out. I guess he thought it was a sheriff's star, and it was the 5-pointed star of Israel. Many people said that was anti-Semitic. We know Trump's not anti-Semitic. His daughter has converted to Judaism. His grandchildren are Jewish. His son-in-law is Jewish. He employs thousands of Jewish workers. He's in New York City, for heaven's sake. When he purchased a golf club in Florida, he opened that up to Jews for membership. But still, they sent a tweet out with an image in it that, was just, in my opinion, dumb, because I don't think they looked at it the right way. Then they didn't apologize for it. Will this amount to anything?
No. Look, the same people who are supporting Trump, got to remember that we are, in America, we're just tired of the same old garbage that's coming from not only, the establishment Republicans and the establishment Democrats. They're tired of the establishment media, the mainstream media, jumping on these little things that, were never intended as a slight or a racist comment or an ethnic slur, nothing like that. Nothing was ever intended by that. And so, it was a dumb thing to put out there, but it was never intended for anything. So, Americans want to take their country back. They're not going to stop and say, oh, well, some communications guy inside the campaign sent out something that was insensitive or whatever, and therefore I'm not going to vote for Trump. People are serious about taking the country back. They're not going to be dissuaded by something as minor as this.
You know what? I agree. I'm also going to say that you're now running a presidential campaign. And so my advice to Mr. Trump with these tweets is I would not tweet out anything that had any image in it ever. And I would tell the same thing to my staff. There's so little upside, so much downside. I know Dan, great guy. He probably didn't think through that the star that he chose with the graphic was the Star of Israel and what the backlash should be. He probably did it quickly. Now, having done that, look, mistakes are going to get made. I make mistakes every segment, right? But when you make one like this, you just needed to apologize. Say, hey, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. It was a dumb thing for me to do. I take total responsibility. I took it down, didn't mean anything by it. And boy, that was dumb. And now I've learned. If he said that immediately, that would be the end of this. Look, you're in a presidential campaign. You're fighting for the future of America. When you make a mistake, let's just own up to it. We all make them. Move on. Final word.
Well, I just think people are tired of politicians who back down all the time. So Trump is saying, look, even when I make mistakes, I'm not going to back down. I mean, this is it. I'm not going to go apologize because, you know, what's going to happen, the left-wing media is just going to take that and they're going to run with that as well. So Trump has said, look, I'm not apologizing for anything. We're going to make mistakes, but that's just the way the campaign rolls, and we're going to move on to November 8th.
All right, that's going to be the final word. We want to thank Corey Stewart for being with us. He is the chairman of the Prince William County Board of Supervisors. He's also chairman of the Trump campaign and co-chair with former Governor Gilmore of the Republican Party of Virginia's 2006 campaign to win Virginia. He's our finance chairman. He's all that good stuff. He's also running for governor in 2017. We'll have you back. This is the John Fredericks Radio Network.